Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zakir Jacob. The war between the two Senas continues. Now the Uddhav camp has got the nod for a new election symbol. The Shinde faction has not got a new symbol as yet, but both the Senas have got respective names. The question is, will this play a critical factor, not just in the upcoming Andheri East bypoll, which is scheduled in early November, but more importantly, will this set the template, as it were, for the big BMC election, which is expected sometime early next year? And the most important question of all, we have seen this in numerous other parties, fratricidal battles, whether it was in the AIDMK, whether it was in the LJP, ultimately one faction will prevail. In the case of the Sena, who will that be?
आणि आज हे शिवतीर्थ बघितल्यानंतर पुन्हा त्यांच्या मनामध्ये प्रश्न पडला, अरे बापरे, गद्दारांचं कसं होणार?
आम्ही केलेली गद्दारी नाही, तर हा गदर आहे. गदर गदर म्हणजे क्रांती, गदर म्हणजे उठाव.
The fight over the real Shiv Sena continues. 2 days after the Election Commission barred the Uddhav Thackeray faction and the Eknath Shinde faction from using the party name and its bow and arrow election symbol, the former Maharashtra Chief Minister moved the Delhi High Court challenging EC's move. Uddhav Thackeray's petition stated that the freezing of Sena's symbol is actuated by malice in law and that it's erroneous and not maintainable. Thackeray claimed that he remains the party's president and that as per Sena's constitution, the president's decisions are final. The election body had asked both warring factions to choose a new name and symbol for the upcoming by-election in Mumbai's Andheri East. Out of the options submitted, Uddhav Thackeray's faction has been allotted the Mashal symbol and the name Shiv Sena Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray. The Shinde camp has been asked to submit 3 new symbols and has been given the name Balasahebanchi Shiv Sena.
We are the real claimants of bow and arrow because we are the real Shiv Sena. That we were hurt the most.
Shiv Sena broke into 2 factions after Shinde's rebellion in June. A majority of Sena MLAs joined Shinde and brought down the Uddhav Thackeray-led Maha Vikas Aghadi government. Shinde replaced Uddhav as chief minister with BJP's backing. Since then, both Uddhav and Shinde's factions have been locked in a tussle to be the real Shiv Sena and the claimants of Balasaheb Thackeray's legacy.
Please, you must tell him not to compare a chief minister to crores of Maharashtrians because Maharashtrians are not disloyal, dishonest and backstabbers, firstly. And they wouldn't hold on to a power or position unconstitutionally and through backstabbing.
Now that EC has picked the names, will it finally settle the debate on the real Shiv Sena?
Meanwhile, we're getting some big breaking news coming in. Team Thackeray has got a new election symbol as well as a new name. It's going to be called Shiv Sena Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray. Team Shinde has been asked to give more options for the election symbol. The Election Commission has written to them. They've been allotted the name Balasahebanchi Shiv Sena, but no symbol as of right now. Let me go across to Ananya, who has more details on this. So, one of the 3 symbols asked for by the Uddhav faction, they have been given that. What happens in the case of the Shinde faction?
Well, yes, one of the symbols that have been given out to the Uddhav camp, which they thought has been now given. While for the Shinde camp, they have now been asked to provide another options with regards to what symbol would they need. Though the names for both the parties have now been given. One which is led by Eknath Shinde. The Eknath Shinde faction would now be called Balasahebanchi Shiv Sena, while the other, the Uddhav Thackeray's camp would be named as Shiv Sena Uddhav Balasaheb Shiv Sena. And so the Sena versus Sena war has emerged out after a long battle, not only in the Supreme Court but also in the Election Commission of India. And also we shall remember that the dispute is going before the Delhi High Court day after tomorrow as well. So though there does not seem to be a clear air as to who is the real Shiv Sena at this point of time, but a little breather had come for both of them because symbols and names are being allotted by the Election Commission for the upcoming polls that are to take place in the Maharashtra local bodies. And what is very, very clear to note at this moment of time is that the Uddhav Thackeray camp is actually trying its level best to get the claim of the Shiv Sena back, and is using all legal routes possible into this particular matter, because now we see that they have now moved the Delhi High Court challenging the EC's order freezing the election symbol, the bow and arrow symbol, and the name of Shiv Sena. So we'll have to wait and watch as to how things pan out in the court of law. But at this moment of time, if we talk of the elections now, there have been new names that have been given out to both of the parties and symbols allotted to the Uddhav camp, while the Eknath Shinde camp has been asked to give out its symbol very soon.
All right, Ananya, we'll leave it at that. Ananya Bhatnagar there with more details on what has transpired between the Election Commission and the two factions of the Shiv Sena. Let me now open this up to our guest, Shaina NC BJP spokesperson joining us, Kishore Tiwari, Shiv Sena leader, Kailash Adhikari is political analyst and managing director of Governance Now, and Samrat Fadnis is editor with Sakal Media. Shaina, let me start with you first. The political argument being made by the Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray faction is that all of this is being done at the behest of the BJP because there's no compelling reason why the symbol had to be frozen now as far as the Andheri East bypoll is concerned, because the BJP is fighting that, and from the Thackeray faction obviously they'll put up a candidate. So if the Shinde faction of the Sena is not even in the fight, then why does the symbol and the name need to be frozen?
Well, you're asking me a question that should be answered by the Election Commission. And Zaka, just to be very clear, you keep saying that what does the BJP have to do? The BJP has nothing to do with a party which has its own internal factions which were created for reasons best known to them. As a bystander or as a journalist, you're entitled to investigate and say why did they actually step out. But as somebody from a political party, I can only say that 40 MLAs leaving a party with the anti-defection law coming into play, obviously there may have been reasons best known to them. Now you asked a question about freezing the symbol. If 40 MLAs are on one side and 15 on the other, obviously there has to be some merit in the case, and the only case that can be decided is by the Election Commission. What has the Election Commission said? The Election Commission has said that for those who are constantly believing that they are the inheritors of a party, that could well be in terms of a legal inheritor, but the inheritors of a philosophy and a party can also be the cadre, which in most cases one has seen. One has seen this in the South too. One has seen this in multiple other cases. And what the Shiv Sena today is asking for, both Senas are asking that there should be justice when it comes to a bypoll, because there is a confusion in people as to who the Shiv Sena is, and in that sense, one faction has already got a name and an emblem, and the other, and our Honorable Chief Minister Eknath Shinde has the support of 40 MLAs. Do not forget, this is the same Shiv Sena which in 2019 used Modi ji's name and Amit Shah's name to win the election, came to power, and it was almost as if the bride ran off with the Congress and NCP for a long or short honeymoon, if you like, and just chucked Hindutva and chucked all the philosophies of Balasaheb Thackeray. So what are we talking about?
No, so let me ask Kishore
people are entitled to have their own viewpoint.
That जैसे शाइना बता रही हैं 40 MLA एक तरफ है और दूसरी तरफ 15 MLA. So the question that's being asked is कि why should Election Commission then give you the bow and arrow symbol and the name Shiv Sena? और अगर precedent भी देखें आप, when it happened in LJP party बिहार में, they froze the symbol and they froze the name, and ultimately after it got proven that a bulk of the party is with a particular faction, in this case Paras के faction के साथ थे, so they gave him the symbol and the party name. The official faction got recognized as the Paras faction. लेकिन आपके पास तो नंबर भी नहीं है किशोर तिवारी जी.
नहीं, आप ही डिसाइड करेगी और शाइना ही करेगी ना. देखिए, एक विधायक दल होता है, एक सांसदीय दल होता है. विधायक दल और सांसदीय दल हमसे टूट के गया, ये तो मालूम है आपको. लेकिन एक संगठन होती है जो पॉलिटिकल पार्टी होती है, जिस पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का मेजॉरिटी सपोर्ट हमारे पास है, यह हमारा दावा है. अब इलेक्शन कमीशन ने अपना वर्डिक्ट दिया है.
किशोर जी,
अरे-
आपकी नैया तो डूब चुकी है। आप किस
अरे
बात
ये
कर रहे हैं?
देखो,
शिवसेना
शायना जी,
और
आप
महाराष्ट्र
बात
में
कर
जो
रही थी,
चल
मैंने
रहा
बात
है
नहीं किया।
आज एक
अरे
मिनट
भाई,
किशोर जी,
ये इलेक्शन
आप कैसे
कमीशन
बोल
के
सकते हैं कि
स्पोक्सपर्सन
आपके
को
पास
लाओ।
नंबर्स हैं जब
इलेक्शन
40
कमीशन
आपके
के
विधायक
स्पोक्सपर्सन
निकल
को
के
लाओ
गए
मत।
हैं?
अरे मुझे मेरी बात सुन लो शायना जी, मैंने आपके बीच में मैं नहीं बोला, और आपने कहा कि हमको इस दो फैक्शन के झगड़े में कुछ करना नहीं है। मैं आपको बताता हूं कि आप जो कर रही है ना, वो तो सबको मालूम है, और कंफ्यूजन जनता में नहीं है, कंफ्यूजन तो आप में है और इलेक्शन कमीशन में है। लेकिन हमें
किशोर
मजाल
जी, अगर
मिला है तो
एक बात बताइए, अगर जनता के बीच में कंफ्यूजन नहीं है तो डर फिर किस चीज की है? तो आपको डरना
किसको
नहीं
डर?
चाहिए, मशाल सिंबल हो,
Zaka,
कोई
can I
और
comment,
सिंबल हो,
please?
वो सिंबल से लड़िए ना और जीतिए।
हाँ, आप ही डिसाइड करोगे ना। अरे
नहीं, मैं
हमको
पूछ रहा हूँ, आप ही ने तो कहा कि जनता के बीच में तो कंफ्यूजन नहीं है, तो नहीं है तो लड़िए मशाल सिंबल में।
नहीं, आपकी सलाह के लिए धन्यवाद। लड़ रहे हैं, और हमें डंडू भी मिला है और टॉर्च भी मिली है, तो शाइना जी जरा बच के रहना। डंडू और टॉर्च दोनों लेके हम आ रहे हैं। लेकिन एक बात मैं बताता हूं कि हमने हाई कोर्ट में इलेक्शन कमीशन को ये अच्छे से मालूम है कि एकनाथ शिंदे ये लोटस लेके लड़ने वाले हैं और बीजेपी में जाके मिलने वाले हैं, तो उनको कोई चिन्ह विन्ह की जरूरत नहीं है। तो आज उनको बुला भी है कि आप लोटस ले लो करके। तो इलेक्शन कमीशन जो लेगा वो लेगा, लेकिन हमारे को
किशोर जी, एक गिव मी 1
कितना भी ताना
मिनट, क्योंकि एक और ब्रेकिंग न्यूज आ रही है, अगेन कनेक्टेड विद दिस होल शिंदे वर्सेस ठाकरे फाइट दैट्स गोइंग ऑन. Now the latest is that the Eknath Shinde camp has now filed a caveat in the Delhi High Court. Remember earlier today, the Uddhav Thackeray faction had filed a petition asking for the EC's decision to freeze the symbol and freeze the party name to be reversed, saying that they are the real claimants of Bala Sahib's legacy. That now there's a caveat that's been filed by the Eknath Shinde camp in the Delhi High Court against this petition that the Uddhav Thackeray camp had filed. So let me go back to our guests. Shaina, I'll come back to you in one moment. Let me also get the other two guests who haven't spoken yet, Kailash Adhikari and Samrat Fadnis. Samrat Fadnis, I think everyone is clearly saying that this Andheri bypoll is perhaps just a ruse. The real target is the BMC election, which is expected to happen sometime early next year. Do you believe this tussle of who gets the symbol, whether the bow and arrow will be unfrozen, and whether one faction will be given the official party name Shiv Sena and the other faction will have to take another name, will this be settled by the BMC election, or is this whole freeze of the symbol actually not so much for the bypoll but for the BMC election?
I don't think that it will settle soon, because it is nothing new that is happening, because it was expected the day the number of 40 MLAs started to join another faction. So it was expected as per the legal battle. Now they will symbol of bow and arrow was supposed to freeze. Nothing new has happened. The name Eknath Shinde from day one claiming that the Shiv Sena he is leading is the real Shiv Sena. That means he was clear that legal battle is ahead. I wonder whether we, as a Kishore ji is here, as a party, as a Shiv Sena, had Shiv Sena prepared that there is a legal battle of say 1 year or 2 years, and okay, we will face these kind of problems ahead. So this is not going to settle for just Andheri only, because after Andheri, BMC, and not only BMC, there are 18 municipal corporations in Maharashtra where elections are going to held. If 2-3 more added, then it will become 22. It is likely a smaller, not a smaller, but 50% of the with assembly elections will be conducted along with the assembly election seats will be in these 22 municipal corporations.
Okay.
So definitely it is not going to end after Andheri only. So Eknath Shinde will drag more into legal battle.
So Kailash Adhikari, if you look at the past precedents, whenever there has been internal battles between in political parties, you look at the AIDMK's case or the LJP's case, it was not just the number of legislators, but it was legislators, corporators, members of parliament, and most importantly, the cadre of the party, who are the district secretaries with, who are the booth pramukhs with. Ultimately, one of the two factions has to prove that a bulk of the party, the cadre of the party, is with them. That's how then they get allotted the original symbol and the legacy name of the party, as it were. In this case, you have one faction that is rebelled and now joined hands with the BJP. That's claiming that is the real Shiv Sena. And then on the other side, you have the inheritors, as they were, the familial inheritors of Bala Sahib's legacy. Which of these two do you see ultimately prevailing? Because in all other past cases, one faction or the other has prevailed.
In this case also, Zaka, one faction will definitely prevail. And that all depends upon who, as you rightly said, it's not just about MLAs, who has the maximum MLAs. At the same time, Shiv Sena is a party, like erstwhile Shiv Sena is a party which has close to 18 member of parliaments. Apart from that, Shiv Sena has a numerous shakhas, not just in Mumbai, but in other parts of Maharashtra, where there's the shakha pramukhs, where the heart of the people lies. What decision the EC has taken currently by freezing the symbol, the bow and arrow and the name, it naturally follows precedence, as in the case of Lok Janshakti Party. And also, if you remember, Zaka, in the times of Indira Gandhi, the same the situation had cropped up at the same time, where the symbol of Congress Party was also frozen, and at the same time it was later on released in the favor of Srimati Indira Gandhi. But for some time it was frozen. So this has follows precedence, and at the same time, after this, now whoever has the might of not only the legislature but also of the various functionaries of the parties, they will get the real the bow and arrow and the name Shiv Sena. It will not just follow because you are someone's son or because you carry that particular surname. Now it is a battle not only in front of the Election Commission of India, but also it is a legal courtroom battle. After EC freezing, the Uddhav camp has chosen to file a petition trying to quash the decision taken by EC in front of the Delhi High Court. Now it is a complex matter, but at the end of the day, since we are talking about politics, since we are talking about where the heart of the people lie, the actual voters, it is the actual voters, Zaka, which who will finally decide, not just by this Andheri East bypoll. That is a minuscule fraction of what the people think. But when the BMC election comes, where the Shiv Sena erstwhile Shiv Sena actually takes pride of, there is the real test. That is the litmus test where the people
So I want to ask Shaina that, the